Okay, this is page 80, problem number 6. They just put a little bit of a twist to this. So it says you would like to invest $50,000 and have a portfolio expected return of 8%. So this is where you're trying to get a return of 8%. Before they told you the return on the couple stocks and that gave you a return on your portfolio. This is an expected return on the portfolio of 8%, where you're trying to put together a portfolio where you expect to get that. You're considering two securities, stock A and B. Stock A has an expected return of 10.4% and B has an expected return of 6.8%. How much would you invest in stock A? Invest in stock A if you invest the balance in stock B. Okay, there's the answer, but I'll show you how to do it. Okay, so it's the same basic formula, just it's on page 71 of your workbook. Expected return of the portfolio equals the weighted average of A, they use A in this case, the weighted average times the expected return of stock A plus the weighted return of B times the expected return for stock B. So before it was just weighted average of 1 times the return of 1, or weighted average of A times the return of A. Now it's the weighted average of A times the expected return of A plus the weighted average of B times the expected return of B. So you know that your expected return is 8%. So now go back to your old algebra days, and they don't give you the weighted averages for all this stuff. So pick one to be X. So if we did A is going to be, stock A is going to be the weighted average, X. Okay, you know that that's 10.4% the expected return. They tell you right here. And so remember that they're weighted means that everything has to equal 1. You know, if one's 60%, the other one's got to be 40%. If one's 30% and two others have to be 20 and 20 or something like that. So it has to add up to 1. So if X times 10.4 and X is A, and you only have two of them, then B is 1 minus X. Okay? So X times 10.4, the expected return. This is the weighted average of A. And B is 1 minus X, because it has, these two have to equal 1 together. So if this was 40, this would be 60, 1 minus X. And times the expected return. So it's simple algebra after that. Make sure you keep everything right. And remember, like on these two, you multiply 6.8 times 1 and 6.8 times negative X. So you get 6.8, which is 6.8 times 1, 6.8 times negative X, so negative 6.8X. You add these together, all these together, you get 10.4. This, I put this 6.8 on this side, and I kept the X's on this side. So this comes out to 1.2 equals 3.6x. You divide them both by 3.6, and 0.33 is x. Now remember what you have as x. X is the weight of stock A. Okay? And so you know that you've got $50,000 to invest, and so A, and that's what they're asking for, how much would you invest in stock A if you invest the balance of stock B? All they're asking you is for stock A, and X was the weighted average for A. So 50,000 times 0.33 equals 16,500. So that's the answer to number 6. Same basic formula, except it's expected return on the portfolio, where before it was the return on portfolio because you had actual weighted averages and you had expected returns. But it's the same basic formula. Just have to do a little bit of old algebra, and that's the answer.